Cardano with Roto Experts in the Fantasy Sports Network, here to talk about top tournament daily fantasy plays for Week 8 as we strive to find NFL players with big upside and potential low ownership to help you separate from the field and climb your tournament leaderboard in daily fantasy. Now let's get right to it and start with the quarterback position. Alex Smith is by no means a sexy pick, but for that very reason his ownership will likely be very low. However, he's got an excellent chance at returning value at his price tag, leaving you with plenty of money to spend on other positions. Now, Smith will take advantage of an elite matchup at home as the Rams allow the third most fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. St. Louis is at the bottom half of the league in terms of pass rush and pass coverage, according to Pro Football Focus, and they're ranked dead last in pass defense, according to Football Outsiders. Now, while Smith is not going to win you the tournament on his own, he'll allow you meaningful salary cap relief, and he's a strong bet to lead all quarterbacks in fantasy scoring at his price point or lower. With a handful of lead backs priced below $5,000, Mark Ingram is not a cash game consideration as his workload in terms of market share of carries and targets per game is a lot lower. In tournaments, though, we shouldn't be concerned with the lower floor that his workload creates. Rather, we should be enticed by the upside that the quality of his workload creates. Ingram has one of the best chances of multiple scores this week. Prior to being injured, Mark Ingram amassed 7 red zone opportunities over the season's first 2 weeks and converted those into 3 red zone touchdowns. Now, he should return to being a primary red zone option for the Saints this week as Jimmy Graham is banged up and Pierre Thomas has already been ruled out. The Saints should have plenty of red zone opportunities as a team this week. They have a team total of 28 at home in what is expected to be a shootout against a Green Bay team that allows the 4th most rush attempts per game and the 6th most red zone rush attempts per game. Now, one way to create leverage in a tournament is to pivot off a popular choice for a less popular choice in the same price range. One of the best opportunities to do that this week is to play Darren McFadden over Jerick McKinnon, who will likely be highly owned in a good matchup coming off a strong performance that has solidified his role as a starter. It should be pointed out, though, that McKinnon has received just 5 red zone opportunities on the season, including 0 as a starter the past 2 weeks. Meanwhile, McFadden received 5 red zone opportunities last week alone. Now, the Raiders aren't very good, and they don't normally produce that many looks by the end zone. Still, when they do get into the red zone, McFadden is the guy that they look to. He has at least 1 red zone opportunity in 5 straight weeks, and he has a team-high 38.89% market share of red zone opportunities on the season. Throw in the fact that McFadden has caught 4 passes in 3 of 4 games with 14 or more rushing attempts in 3 or 4 games, and it wouldn't shock me to see him have his most productive outing of the year against a Cleveland run defense that's ranked 31st in the NFL according to Football Outsiders. Davante Adams has been a popular cheap pick for several weeks now since unseating Jared Boykin as Green Bay's 3rd wide receiver, but he's rewarded daily fantasy players with just 1 outing greater than 10 points. Now hopefully, players will get impatient with Adams, as I think this is the week that he finally breaks out. Now, the Packers, led by Aaron Rodgers, have an extremely efficient pass offense, but their secondary options are sometimes hurt by lack of volume. Now, Green Bay surprisingly attempts the 5th fewest passes per game. Part of that has been due to game flow. The Packers have won 3 of their past 4 contests by 21 or more points, and Aaron Rodgers has averaged just over 22 pass attempts per game in those contests. This week's game flow should be less of a problem and will lead to an increase in both attempts and the quality of those attempts. Now, the Packers have a very high team total of 28, playing in a dome, but are actually 1-point underdogs against a Saints team that ranks 30th in pass defense according to Football Outsiders. Now, Terrence Williams is an ideal tournament play since he simultaneously offers a lot of upside due to the matchup and creates leverage by forcing you to fade a popular choice in teammate Dez Bryant. Since it's unlikely that both Dallas wide receivers have huge games in a run-first offense, if Williams is the receiver that goes off, well, his owners will have a monstrous edge over those many more owners who took Dez Bryant. Now, Bryant is definitely the better option for cash games, but this dynamic shifts the risk-reward pendulum back Williams' way just a bit in tournaments. Now, Williams has a 17% market share of red zone opportunities, which is strong for a second wide receiver. The matchup is great as Washington has Pro Football Focus's worst pass coverage rating, and the Cowboys enter this game with a team total of 30, the highest of any team this week. Martellus Bennett may find himself under-owned as his price tag has him in no man's land. Above him are the studs Julius Thomas and Rob Gronkowski. Below him are cheap value plays Jordan Reed and Zach Ertz. Now, after scoring 4 touchdowns in the first 3 games of the season, Bennett has not scored in 4 straight games. Look for that drought to end this Sunday. Among tight ends, Bennett has one of the highest market shares of red zone opportunities in the league at 20.31%. Factor in the Bears ranking 3rd in the league in red zone pass attempts per game, while the Patriots allow 5 red zone pass attempts per game, and Bennett has a good shot of finding pay dirt. For more in-depth analysis on top tournament daily fantasy plays during the season, head on over to RotoExperts.com and sign up for the Daily Fantasy Football Package. Our experts, Drew Dinkmeyer and Mike Leone, get you ready each week with strategy articles, site-specific cheat sheets, and recommendations that highlight the top value plays each week and send you updated injury information right to your inbox with our lineup alerts feature. Become a member of the Daily Fantasy Rundown team at RotoExperts.com by signing up for the Daily Fantasy Football Package. For Roto Experts and the Fantasy Sports Network, I'm Mike Cardano.